INFJs are a very real breed, and you don't come across someone who is as understanding and caring as INFJ. But they often tend to be alone and don't spend a lot of their time in social gatherings and in making small talk. People are always curious that why INFJs is more like a lone wolf, because that usually is a quality of beta males. So, we have jotted down the reasons why INFJs tend to be alone and why they avoid social gatherings. 1. To widen their imagination. Common people might find it harder to understand, but INFJs like to use the extra time on something that is more meaningful and that helps them with learning something. They like to widen the arrays of their imagination and think about new things, which is why most of the time you would find an INFJ just sitting still and thinking about something. It is a part of their personality and who they are. If they go out and socialize, they would lose the time that they could have spent coming up with new theories or reading about the newest spiritual concepts. So, technically, an INFJ is not really alone because his thoughts are always with him. People often find it weird that INFJs are not interested in the newest technology and in texting, but that is because they find it very materialistic, and they are more interested in things that are meaningful and that helps them become a better version of themselves. Before we move on, we would like to share you guys an amazing tool that makes you understand your personality better, but also the personality of others around you. So, do you really want to know who you really are? Then make sure to click the link in our description, do the test, and find all the information you need. Thanks for your patience, and let's go further with the next sign. 2. Lack of energy. Socializing completely drains the energy from an INFJ because they put a lot of effort into making everyone feel good and just making sure that no one feels unwanted or bad. So, this constant struggle makes them really tired. That is also the reason they avoid social gatherings, and also because it is not even worth it. Talking to a bunch of people about politics is not going to get them anywhere, but being in their room, reading their favorite book, actually can. So they tend to save their energy for the things that actually matter to them. People assume that INFJs are rude and cold because they often leave parties halfway, but that is not only because they do not have more energy to make small talk or to even listen to it. That is not arrogance, but a part of their personality. 3. They have trust issues. INFJs have some pretty serious trust issues, so if they tell you that they trust you, it means you are truly special. They do not trust people and don't even open up to them, which basically is enough to repel anyone who is interested in them. Also, INFJs are people that tend to be very protective of themselves, and they set clear boundaries, even with people they trust. It makes it a lot harder to be with them, and even their friends often leave them because they are not like common people and are clear with what and how they want things to be done. How worse their trust issues are depended upon what kind of experience they have had with people. Most INFJs usually are heartbroken from an early age, so they find themselves very vulnerable if they trust someone again. It is the very reason they decide not to put their trust in other people and stay alone, because that is their defense mechanism. 4. Complex nature. INFJs have a very complex nature that makes it harder for people to understand them. They tend to be very difficult to understand, and those who try to understand them often get confused because INFJs are like a book that does not like to be opened at all. If they think that someone is trying to understand their nature and is getting a little too close, they immediately shut that person out because they do not like to be analyzed. Their defense mechanism is hidden in their complex personality trait, so INFJs feel threatened when someone tries to get to them. 5. They are straightforward. INFJs are very straightforward people, and they do not usually like to play mind games. If someone is making them feel played or someone takes advantage of their honesty, they do not usually avoid it. They are sensitive, but also very rational. They are not afraid to call people out for doing something wrong or for making them feel bad. It is what draws people away from them because they are afraid, and they just do not want to get involved with someone who is so intellectual. So INFJ often spends their evenings alone on their couch because they don't like to be with other people either. They always prefer their own company, and being with selfish and fake people never really does anything for your personal growth, and INFJs have already cracked that code. 6. They intimidate people. Though INFJs do not intimidate people intentionally, even most of their closest friends feel very insecure. INFJs have some quirky habits that regular people do not usually have, like constant staring or sitting alone and thinking for hours. These traits often become the reason why people tend to avoid them and don't want to be seen with them. INFJs like to be alone, but that does not mean that they would not enjoy the company of someone who is every bit as intelligent as them, but they never really find one such person. And as the time passes, they stay a loner, and they start loving their own company, which intimidates people even more because in our common culture, being alone is considered very quirky and is demonized a lot too. So, do you agree with these reasons? Tell us in the comments section. Also, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, adios from our side.